Good afternoon, students. How are you? I hope all of you are doing well in your studies. And today we are going to continue our series on Indian society. And I hope you are also enjoying this lecture series on Indian society. First of all, today I am going to give you one question for which you have to write an answer. So far, we have discussed the salient features of Indian society, unity in diversity. Based on that, I am giving you one question which you have to write. Okay? Yeah, done. So let us start. Indian society is a multicultural society, but the vision of founding fathers of our constitution is to make India a pluralistic society. Yeah, a pluralistic society. Right? Examine the statement. Examine the statement. This is the question that you have to do. I'm not able to, yeah, done. Question is, Indian society is multicultural society, but the vision of founding fathers of our constitution is to make India a pluralistic society. Examine the statement. You have to write your answer in 150 words. The word limit is 150 words and it carries, say, 10 marks. You have to write the question of this based on your what we have studied so far, right? Okay. Now today we are going to start a new topic, that is effects of globalization. Effects of globalization effects of globalization on Indian society. Effects of globalization on Indian society. Today we are going to start this new subtopic, effects of globalization on Indian society, right? Now you see, first of all you need to understand what is the meaning of globalization. What is the meaning of globalization? What this particular term globalization means, right? What is the meaning of this globalization? Okay, first you write it down, then I'll explain you. Write it down. Globalization write it down, is basically increasing global interconnectedness, global interconnectedness, global interconnectedness. This is the essence of globalization. that the entire world has becoming interconnected with each other. And that is how today we are seeing this world. We are calling this entire world as a global village. As a global village. Right? We are calling this world as a global village. Okay? Now, the integration of economies and societies, write it down. The integration of economies and society through cross-country flow of information, through cross-country flow of information, ideas, technologies, goods and services, capital, finance, and people. Therefore, in globalization, apart from economic integration, there is a presence of cultural and social integration. Therefore, globalization is not only creating economic integration, but it is also creating cultural and social integration, which is the subject matter of our study. How globalization is making an impact. What is its impact on Indian society? What is its impact on Indian society? That is a subject matter of our study. Whereas globalization is creating a interconnectedness, interconnectivity in economic terms, political terms, social terms, and cultural terms. Therefore, globalization is creating a multi-dimensional impact on our society, and that is why UPSC has categorically mentioned that you need to study and develop an understanding about globalization and its impact on Indian society, right? You see, let me explain by giving you a simple example. You remember, you can ask your grandparents or your parents. Before 1990s, whenever there is an occasion of birthday in our house or anybody's house, what we used to do on our birthday, our mothers used to celebrate birthday. First you go to a temple, you pay homage to the god. Then in your house, your mother will make us some delicious food like puri, aloo ki sabji, halwa, right? Or the food that you like. And we celebrate in a very close family get-togethers used to take place on the day of birthday. That is the traditional way that birthday used to be celebrated. But now what is happening in present scenario? What is happening right now in current scenario? Today, the birthdays, on birthday, we are ordering pizzas from Domino's. Pizzas from Domino's are coming Children are saying we want to have party at MacD. There we will call our school friends, our neighborhood friends, and we will give them party. Then in the party you have your return gifts also, and all this kind of thing. This is the easiest example of impact of globalization on our society, right? Today, I would like to discuss one incident with you. Long time back, I went to the doctor, and there was a one lady with a 2-year-old kid, I think 3-year-old kid something, so 2.5 or 3-year-old kid. And the lady was complaining to the doctor that my Baba, that is my small Baba boy, is not drinking milk. He does not drink milk. Then doctor asked a question, what he drinks, what he likes. He said, I still remember, she said that this little boy drinks Coke. Now, Coke has become a part and parcel of our lives in metropolitan cities, especially. Whenever any occasion is happening, we open the Coke bottle. Coke has replaced our so-called Nimbu Pani, Sattu ka Pani, and all that. That is being replaced by Coke and other drinks. That is how globalization is, and it is not that the impact of globalization is confined only in our food habits. And you will see that during the course of our lecture, you will see that globalization has impacted every sphere of our society. That is the subject matter of our study in today's topic. Right? Now, write it down. You see, first of all, we need to understand, is globalization a new phenomena that we are witnessing, or it is an old phenomena, or it is a very old phenomena? What do you think, guys? What is your opinion on that? I want to know. Please quickly reply me. I am waiting for your reply. Quickly. I am getting a response only from one boy. Only 1% I am seeing a response. Please, quickly. Are you able to hear me? All of you are there? Tell me quickly. What do you think? Globalization is a new phenomena or it is an old phenomena? Tell me quickly. I'm waiting for your reply. Okay. Shubham is saying it is a very old phenomena. Wonderful. That is a very good answer. You see, globalization is not a new phenomena. You see, when you are studying Indus Valley civilization, Indus Valley civilization, which you must have studied in your previous classes, that in Egypt, there is a during the excavations, it was discovered the coins of Indus Valley civilization. Export used to take place. Export, you can say, lot of items from Indus Valley used to travel to different other places. Right? Right? Therefore, this interconnectedness, maybe today we are having much more interconnected due to the advancement in technology, but interconnectedness was always there. Right? So, therefore, I want to say that globalization is not just a new phenomena that we have witnessed it. Right? Now, especially 19th century. 19th century is basically known as, write it down, 19th century is sometimes called, 19th century is sometimes called the first era of globalization. It is called first era of globalization. 19th century. 19th century is considered as a first era of globalization, right? Done. And the modern globalization that you are witnessing, is basically started after the World War II. It started after the World War II. Modern globalization. It started after World War II. And this, you can say, the pace of globalization picked up after the emergence of Bretton Woods institutions. Bretton Woods institutions. What are the Bretton Woods institutions? Bretton Woods institutions, two. One is World Bank and second is IMF. After these two institutions came into existence, and these two institutions played a very important role in increasing the pace of globalization across the world. That is very important for you. And when I am talking about India, in India, the seeds of liberalization, first I will say liberalization, the seeds of liberalization started coming up in 1987. Later on in 1991, India has seen a watershed movement in the history of economics history of India when India economic reforms took place in 1991. And from a closed economy, Indian economy has become an open economy. And now Indian economy is interconnected with the global economy, right? That is your what Nimai is saying, that LPG reforms, right? Liberalization, privatization and globalization. LPG means liberalization, privatization, globalization. That economic reforms took place in 1991. And before going further, I want to tell you what was the role of IMF, what was the role of World Bank in bringing economic reforms in India. That needs to be discussed also. You see, in 1991, I am taking you to the world of economics. In 1991, you are aware of this fact that all of you have written this. May I rub this? Let's move to the next one. You see, in 1991, India faced the balance of payment crisis, and India was having very limited forex, which can be used only for the 2 weeks, which can be used only for the coming 2 weeks. And what is forex? Forex is your foreign currency. And why you need foreign currency? You need foreign currency. Why? Because you need foreign currency for importing substances and for the energy needs of India. India imports maximum of oil. Our entire energy needs, majority of the energy needs are met by the oil that we are importing from the Gulf countries. So therefore, India also imports gold. Gold is a part and parcel of our culture. Our lot of forex also utilized on buying oil and gold. Therefore, India was having a very severe balance of payment crisis in the economy. And to mitigate the crisis, for mitigating the crisis, the government approached IMF. As you have seen in recent times, recently just you have seen that Sri Lanka has faced economic crisis, and Sri Lanka approached IMF for providing instant financial help to it. You have seen that Pakistan has also on the brink of economic collapse, and then Pakistan approached IMF. In the same way, during 1991, Indian government approached IMF for a bailout package. They requested a bailout package, right? And IMF have given us certain conditions. IMF said, okay, fine, we will help you financially, but you have to fulfill certain obligations. Under which the first is you need to open your economy. Open your economy. And the second is good governance, because it is a part of your GS paper 2, good governance. So they focused on two things. First, and you have to open your economy. You are having a mixed economy, closed economy. We want that Indian economy should be integrated with the global economy. You need to open up your economy. You need to remove this red tapeism, right? So these were the conditions imposed by IMF on India, right? Therefore, this is the background that how globalization happened in India. This is the reason. And then after this, India has come out with 1991 economic reforms. 1991 economic reforms. And therefore, we say that India's economic reforms was the brainchild of our late Prime Minister Narasimha Rao and our finance minister at that time Manmohan Singh, the great economist, right, and our ex-prime minister. That was the scenario which you should know, that how what was the reason that globalization came to India. We are not voluntarily opted for globalization. Under severe stress, we opted for globalization, right? Now, done? Okay. Just write two lines. Institutions such as, write it down, institutions such as International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, known as World Bank, and International Monetary Fund IMF, has facilitated the pace of globalization across the world. Right? Secondly, there is a one more body which you should know about, that is called your, earlier it was known as GATT. Earlier it was called GATT. Now it is known as WTA. This organization also played a very important role in accelerating the growth of globalization. Write it down. General Agreement on Tariffs, General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade, bracket you can write it down, WTO, World Trade Organization, also initiated series of agreement to remove restrictions on free trade, Therefore, after World War II, barriers to international trade have been considerably lowered. Therefore, after World War II, barriers to international trade have been considerably lowered through international agreements, right? Therefore, The factors responsible for the globalization, the factors responsible for the globalization, number one, market oriented approach. Number one, factors responsible for globalization. Number one, oriented market oriented approach. Write it down, market oriented approach. Done. The next important factor which played a very important role in globalization is the advancement in ICT, information, communication and technology. Why ICT played an important role in the spread of globalization? Because it considerably reduced the geographic distance. Is considerably reduced the geographical distance. Done. Done. Third factor is institutions such as WTO. They facilitated the movement of free trade across the world, and the trade barriers were lowered down significantly. Right? Clear? All of you have written this. Can I move further? Done? Can I move further? You see, in globalization, therefore, globalization has transformed the social dimensions. Therefore, globalization has transformed the social dimensions. Right? And this globalization has, number one, make a huge impact on migration and urbanization. Right? All the new prosperous millennium cities that you are witnessing. For example, Gurugram, Noida, right, Bangalore, Hyderabad, right, then your Salt Lake in Kolkata. They are what they are. These new towns are the outcomes of the globalization in India. Earlier, before these towns, what were the major towns what were the major cities in India? Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Madras. But today, instead of this, people are moving to Bangalore, Hyderabad, Salt Lake, Greater Noida, Gurugram. These institutions have come up. So, these institutions are the product of globalization that you are witnessing, right? Now, let us understand the impact of globalization on different institutions one by one. So, first I will explain you. You can write the positive impact and the negative impact. Okay. Right. I think you have written this. Done. Now, let's move to the next one. All of you have written? Now, the first social institution that I want to discuss about the first that I want to talk about is marriage. How globalization has impacted marriage in Indian society, that we need to understand. You see, I already explained you in our previous class that in Indian society, the normal course of performing marriage or how marriage takes place is through arranged marriages. India is a country of arranged marriages. India is a country of arranged marriages. When I am saying arranged marriage, it implies endogamous marriage. Which marriage? Endogamous marriage. What endogamous implies? When you are marrying within your caste, right? And how marriage used to take place? By our conventional traditions, right? For example, what are the conventional traditions? There used to be middlemen in villages, in cities. In northern India, they called बिचौलियास. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? बिचौलिया, right? Or some elders of your family, such as your mausi, your mama, bua, they will bring the proposals of marriage, right? Middlemen or some elder people in the village or in society, in villages, they bring the marriage proposals, right? And then there is a complete tradition of marriage. That was the scenario of marriage process in India. But today, this entire system has gone a very big change. Today, the place of these elder people, that your bicholias, middleman, mama, mausi is replaced by jeevansathi.com. Maja aaya? Are you enjoying it? jeevansathi.com, right? Shadi.com, right? You have event managers. You have event managers which deals with marriage, right? Now we are having a concept of destination marriage, right? Today you are uploading your profile on the Jeevansathi, Shadi.com, and there are a lot of others dedicated matrimonial websites where you can upload your profile, and the profiles which are similar to your demands or choices, they can match it. You can meet on, you can have a chat on the web, right? Your numbers will be shared. You can have a WhatsApp chat, then you can meet, and then formal things can move on. That is the biggest impact, right? Earlier, marriages used to take place in the place where you are living, but today there is a concept of destination marriages coming. Before globalization, in our marriages, we used to have tashes, dole, and today in our marriages, you are witnessing DJ night, Mehndi night, right or wrong, all these things has come up. Therefore, the way we used to conduct marriage has totally changed the way marriages are happening right now after globalization. Okay, write it down. So this is the idea of marriage. That is the first impact of globalization. And second impact, very second impact. Later on, you can write it down. You see, in India, I said majority of the marriages that used to take place in endogamous marriage, and today you are seeing a new phenomena that is emerging. That is live-in relationship. Live-in relationships are coming. For example, if you come to Delhi, and because I am from Delhi, so I can give you the best example of Delhi. If you go to Gurugram, if you go to Noida, Greater Noida, and other satellite towns, or you can go to Bangalore, you will see that majority of the couples are in live-in relationships. Therefore, marriage institution is getting a biggest challenge. Marriage institution is getting a very big challenge from the live-in institutions. This living culture. How this living culture started in India, that you need to understand. You see, with globalization, the positive impact of globalization is that it has created job opportunities. New kind of jobs has emerged in IT sector, IT world, right? And now the level of education has also gone up in India. And today, when girls are becoming educated, they are doing engineering, medicine, or other good professional courses they are doing, they are getting job in Bangalore. And when they are moving to some other cities for the sake of job, the boys and the girls are working together, and they are seeing that, and the barriers of caste are removing away. They are literally going outside the window. Today, the young educated couples used to think that what is wrong in going outside the marriage. So therefore, this is one of the biggest impact of globalization, right? Write it down. Marriage has always been regarded as a highly sacred institution. Marriage has always been regarded as highly sacred institution, but with changing features of society, with changing features of society, with changing features of society, this very institution, this very institution is in conflict with, very institution is in conflict with this very institution is in conflict with new changes that are taking place in society. First, you write it down positive impact. We, Indian society has seen in the last decade, Indian society has seen in the last decade, love marriages, there is love marriages are taking place, love marriages are taking place, which implies parental preferences, which implies parental preferences have given way to children's wishes, or they accommodate children's wishes, or they accommodate children's wishes through love come arranged marriage. Done? Say yes or no. Is it clear? Subrato, now you are not facing any problem in the dictation. Please reply me. I am waiting for your reply. I guess I get very less, interaction from your side, guys. Are you listening to me? I'm still waiting for your replies. Point number 2. With more integrated economy, increased education and enhanced awareness in a globalized world, people from different caste and faith are intermingling. Very important. With more integrated economy, increased education and enhanced awareness in a globalized world, people from different castes and faiths are intermingling, which resulted in melting away the caste-based rigidities, which resulted in melting away the caste-based rigidities. And this results in increasing trend of intercaste and interfaith marriages in Indian society. Underline this word. और underline कैसे करोगे? पेज फटना चाहिए तुम्हारा. Okay. Therefore, this has increased the intercaste and interfaith marriages. Third, the globalization has broadened the mindset of young people. The globalization has broadened the mindset of young people. Now people are avoiding child marriages. Now people are avoiding child marriages unlike the past. Another trend, there is an increase in percentage of widow remarriage. There is increase in the percentage of widow remarriages in Indian society. Next point, with the dissemination of ideas of gender equality, the institution of marriage is also witnessing an shift towards egalitarian value. In comparison to earlier male domination and female subservience. Clear? Any doubt here? Any one of you is having any doubt? You can ask me. Clear? I am getting very less responses from your side, guys. Why? Clear? All these points are clear. These are the positive aspects of these are the positive impacts of globalization on the social institution, that is your marriage, right? Clear? Why? What are the impact? Just summarize it. Number one, caste rigidities are melting away. Caste rigidities are melting away. Point number two, there is a increase in the love marriages. Parents are becoming more accommodative, love, and a new phenomena, that is love come arrange marriages, are happening in Indian society. Love come arrange marriages are taking place in Indian society. The positive impact of globalization on marriage is that marriage is becoming more egalitarian in nature, that is a kind of gender equality, is coming up. Now there is no male dominance in the marriage system. Women and men both are playing active role, equal role in the decision making of marriage, right? Done? Clear? Therefore, these are the positive impacts of marriages, the positive impact of globalization on marriage. Clear? Is this clear? Now let us move to the negative impacts here. Done? Now let us move to the negative impact. Negative impact. What are the negative impacts? Number one, the globalization has reduced the sacredness of marriage. The globalization has reduced the sacredness of marriage, and as a result there is an increased number of cases of divorce cases, right? This is the first negative impact of globalization. Second, instead of considering marriage as a religious sacrament, people are considering it as a civil contract. Instead of considering marriage as a religious sacrament, people are considering marriage as civil contract. Another change in the mindset of people related to marriage, right? Now next to the another one, The next, which I discussed, the concept of live-in relationship. Live-in relationship. Write it down. The concept of live-in relationship is giving challenge to the institution of marriage. It's giving challenge to the institution of marriage. Right? Is giving challenge to the institution of marriage. I can see the responses of Nimai, Sunanda, Anirvan, and then Shubham. Is that clear? I am not getting your responses. What is, are you getting me? What I am saying to you? Is the concept clear to you or not? Please reply. Because I am not getting your response, and if I don't get your feedback, how I will come to know whether you are developing the understanding about the topic or not? All of you are there or not? Subhashri. Yeah, just I got a one feedback. Sir, interfaith marriage is less common as rules of the many states and the competence group must have to ruler is still there. Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Subhashri, very good. Because you see, the moment student you talk to me, it gives me a kind of motivation. Okay, very good. Let me discuss this thing to you. As Subhashri is absolutely right that intercaste marriages are on the rise and interfaith marriages are a little bit on the lower side, but that is also taking place in society. You need to understand that you see what is the what is the scenario, how globalization is impacting the change. Let me give you an example. The biggest impact of globalization is giving us an outlook, world outlook, yeah, international outlook that we are getting, right? Let me give you an example. Before independence, there was a Brahmo Samaj and there was a very eminent leader of Brahmo Samaj who was a follower of of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Keshav Chandra Sen. He married his 7-year-old daughter to the king of Kuch Bihar, who was 70-year-old. And now in 2023, public interest litigation is filed. The matter is sub judice in the Supreme Court, that Supreme Court should come forward and eradicate this anomaly between the ages of boy and girl for the marriage. For example, in India, the marriageable girl is age of marriageable girl is 18 years in India, and for the boy it's 21, and it is giving a wrong impression to the society. People are thinking that girls can mature faster than boys, therefore they need to get married earlier. And to bring correctness in this, people have filed PIR. Today we are talking about the concept of marital rape, that even if you are married, you are not having a right that you can force yourself on your life partner without her permission, without her consent. Today this topic is also in the news. Today we are talking of gender equality, compatibility among husband and wife, right? As one of the student Anirvan has asked me a question, how live-in relationship is a negative aspect as it is done with previous approval of both the parties. Okay, you see, you need to understand, Anirvan, that marriage is a very important thing from our cultural perspective and from our religious perspective also. Marriage is not just about boy and girl in India. Marriage is basically between two families. Marriage is kind of a commitment that whatsoever comes, I am always there with you. And this commitment is not from the man's side, this the same commitment is from the women's side also. And it is the shared responsibility of both husband and wife to raise the children in a very meaningful manner. And with marriage comes responsibility. Therefore, in the marriage system, as you have seen Hindu Marriage Act, the girl is entitled for certain benefits, man is also entitled for certain benefits, right? Therefore, this is a concept of institution, marriage institution. Marriage institution is one of the basic institution, marriage. From the marriage comes the family, on which the entire edifice of your civilization stands. If today, if you ask me a question, how Indian civilization is still surviving, because in India we are having a very strong institution called family, and family is coming out of the institution of marriage. Therefore, in marriage we are committed towards each other. It is not a walk-in, walk-out relationship. But what is happening in live-in relationship? Live-in relationship, as Supreme Court has said very important statement on that, that live-in relationship is like a walk-in, walk-out relationship. When it is a walk-in, walk-out relationship and there is no commitment on the part of any of the partners, will this kind of a system enjoys legal rights? Now, I am putting this question to you, Anirban. This institution covers legal rights. If anything happens with the partner, who will take care of it? If out of this live-in relationship, children are coming out, what kind of legal protection they are having? Yes, that is the reason. Very good. That is the reason that this issue is bound to come, because recently when Section 377 was debated in Delhi High Court and the Supreme Court, the opponent also made this point that if you allow same-sex marriage and if you decriminalize the homosexuality, the next step is same-sex marriage. But court will take on that here. So these are the issues which are interconnected with each other, because you need to understand that sexuality is not just between men and women. It is more about your orientation, as Supreme Court has said. Therefore, of course, you are absolutely right, Shubhashri. Absolutely right. In Kerala High Court statement, they clearly mentioned that if a relationship is made with the consent of a woman, you cannot call it a rape. Absolutely right. And that is the reason there is no legal rights in the live-in relationship. It is up to you. Therefore, all these challenges will come up with the globalization. Right, because you see, I give you an example. I went to one marriage of one of my friend who has come from France. He was working in France in Airbus, and he come and to India for his marriage. I was also a part of their marriage function. So there I was introduced to his friend. So they were, one is a French, the boy is a French, and the women was a Dutch. They're having 3 children, and when I discussed, when you get married, they said, no, we have not decided about marriage. We are not married, but they are having children. Therefore, you see, you need to understand that Sunanda is asking me how same-sex marriage is linked with globalization, how we should address it. You see, Sunanda, today you are witnessing so much of voice about LGBTQ rights. Did you hear all this concept 20 years back? Today in my class, today you all are my students. I can discuss with you on menstrual hygiene. I can discuss with you the social taboos related to menstruation, sanitary pads. Today I can discuss with you about same-sex marriage, gay, LGBTQs kind of topics, and there is no halla bolo in the class. There is no complaint against me. Why? Why all these things has not taken place 40 years back? As please remember this, every idea has its own time. Today in India, we are making movies like Padman, which became a hit, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, Thappad. These are the movies coming up. What this movie? Because if you want to understand any society or culture, you need, the easiest way is to watch the movie and songs of that country. You can better understand what kind of society they are having. In India, a movie like Thappad is coming up on the multi-screen. What Thappad implies? Thappad implies that there is an element of equality between wife and husband. Wife is not subordinate to husband. We need to understand this, and this point is beautifully portrayed by a movie such as Thappad. Today we are discussing about a very popular film like Padman, because it has become the necessity, and all these are taking place due to the impact of globalization. Due to the impact of globalization, our outlook has changed. Today you are watching Discovery at your home. You are introducing to the different cultures. People are dancing together. People are living a much more advanced life in advanced countries. Why we can't live such a good life? Therefore, you are talking about human rights. Today you are talking about the rights of lesbian, gay, transgenders, queers, bisexuals, right? All these things are taking place because in our society, due to the impact of globalization, there is much more awareness. The level of education has gone up among girls also and boys also. Therefore, all these kind of things are taking place. Today, intercaste marriage is becoming a phenomena. Intercaste marriages are taking place between Brahmins and Banyas, Banyas and Rajput, with Dalits also. The people who are, one of my friend, she is a Brahmin and she married to a scheduled caste guy, and there is no problem. They have happily accepted it, and they are the God Brahmins. Can you imagine a God Brahmin girl whose surname is Vashisht? She is getting married to a boy who is coming to the most lowest section of society, but the boy is from IIT. Girl has done MA in she has done MA in special education from India's top college. Therefore, the point is this: all these things are happening, right? Why all these things are happening? Because you need to understand there is much more awareness in the society. People are understanding that caste, religion has no role to play. People are questioning. There is an element of asking questions has coming up in the youth, especially you are the future of this country. Made in heavens, we are absolutely right. Wonderful, wonderful. Now Shubhashri is coming, hitting the right point. Recently, Made in Heaven series has come up on Netflix, where they are pointing out the issues related to LGBTQ rights, the Dalit rights. All these things are there. And that is the reason at Subham is putting the question of adultery. Why Supreme Court has decriminalized adultery? Earlier, adultery was a criminal offense. Because you need to understand, the more society become advanced, your individual rights become more superior. That is the point, and that is what we are discussing here, and that is why UPSC has given you this topic, effects of globalization on Indian society. Today, people, if some government servant is doing something wrong, people are making a video and uploading the video on the Twitter of the concerned minister, and immediate action will be taken. This kind of awareness is coming in the society. Already, Right to Information Act 2005, people started flooding the government departments by writing so many, applications. Why? What is being done? Because people are becoming much more demanding. There is an element of real democracy happening in India. We are giving 33% reservation to women in panchayat, but are they really empowering the women? But yes, to some extent they are. Women are now realizing their importance. For example, recently one more very good web series that is there on, I think, Amazon Prime or Netflix, Kohara, in which a girl is fighting with his father. A girl is fighting with her father that you have forced me to get married, and this early marriage has given me a forced motherhood which I am not prepared for. And that girl, that married lady, is going out of the marriage and making a relationship. And later on, in the initially, the father of the girl gave lot of reluctance, but later on the father accepted the wish of the girl, and he realizes the happiness of my girl lies with this boy, not with her husband. I need to understand this, and is a very good movie. You need to see it. Why all these kinds of movies are coming up? we are seeing a biggest transition from movies such Didi Tera Devar Divana, Dil Wale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge to a movies like you know Wasepur, movies such as Thappad, Padman, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, Made in Heaven, Kohra. These things are coming. What it is showing? It is showing the impact of globalization on Indian society, how our culture, our relationships, our marriage institution, our family institution, our interaction with our parents has changed. Am I right? Correct me if I am right or if I am wrong, please. Do you agree with me? Therefore, you are witnessing all these developments in the society. Clear? Now write down. Okay. Now let us move to another important topic. You see, Shubham is asking me a question. Adultery might be a negative impact on society due to globalization. First of all, it is a very delicate, and we are very emotional people. Adultery, when you are going outside when you are going outside the constructed norms of your institution. For example, I would like to here quote one of the legend on philosophy that India has produced, Osho, Rajneesh Osho. Rajneesh Osho said, one of the followers of Rajneesh Osho asked him a question, Sir, is sex outside marriage is a sin? And he gave a beautiful reply. He said that when sexual union takes place, when you are in love with each other, therefore, if there is no love and then you are making a relationship, that is bad. And you remember, you can make relationship only with that person whom you are emotionally connect with each other, where the emotional quotient is very high. You cannot get in physical contact with anyone, right? Physical connect can be made when you are emotionally connected with each other, and this element of emotionally connected is very higher between in India, especially between husband and wife. And if there is lack of love, then that relationship is end. So that is what Osho said on this, right? Now another Subhashri is asking me a question, sir, that so much advancement in society has taken place, but this is reaching only to the certain value. That is the reality of this is how society changes. You see, metamorphosis never happened in society. What I have used the word metamorphosis. Can anybody tell me who used this word metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is not the characteristic of a society. Who used this word metamorphosis? Anyone? And what is the meaning of metamorphosis? Tell me quickly. I am waiting for reply. Let me see. I think my students give reply very lately. I need that all of you need to be very active. Immediately question is asked and your answer should be here. Let me explain you. Metamorphosis is a term which even Franz Kafka has written a novel, Metamorphosis, and the meaning of metamorphosis, big social change. Therefore, big social change can never take place in society. Society changes within its own space. Normally, what is the difference between a Western society and Indian society? In Western society, the elite class thinks it is their responsibility to bring change in the lower society. Therefore, you are seeing whatever change is coming in elite society, in Western society, the same is happening in the lower society also. But in India, opposite happens. The elite society is having a different social culture and it has no connect with the lower society. It has no connect, I would say it has no connect with the masses. And elite society of India makes try to intentionally they try to make a distance. For example, you see Bollywood. Kareena Kapoor is getting married to Saif Ali Khan. No love jihad is taking place. The wife of Sachin Tendulkar is 7 years older to him. No issue of the age of boy and girl. Nargis, the yesteryear's very famous heroine, was 5 years older to 5 or 6 years older to the Sunil Dutt. No problem. We have seen so many examples like Javed Akhtar. We have seen Nasiruddin Shah married to I'm not able to recall the name. That Miss Pathak is a very famous actress. But when these same things takes place in the masses, it creates a big issue. It creates a chaos. Even situation happens when people go for rampage because there is disconnect actually, and that is the reason you can say that as Subhashri is asking that all this advancements in society is confined only to the certain section of people, but it is not percolating to the masses because the kind of exposure, the kind of education, the kind of liberal mindset that you want for to accept all these changes are not there in the masses. That is the point. Clear? For example, tomorrow you will become an IS officer, right, Subhashri? The way you look at the things, the way you grasp the things, the kind of exposure that you are having, the kind of knowledge you are having is very different from your driver, is very different from your peon, is very different from your clerk or your subordinate staff. Do you agree with me? I think Subhashri, I have given answer to your question, but I really appreciated that students have started asking all this kind of questions. This is very good. Okay, now write down few lines. Now we have discussed enough on this marriage. Now come to the family. Now I am coming to the next topic, that is family. The next institution is family. Write it down. Family is considered as a primary social group. Family is considered as a primary social group. Family is a primary social group done. Family is a primary social group that came into existence to satisfy the need for reproduction. To satisfy. Yeah, you can use this word metamorphosis. Of course, you can use this word in your writings. Okay. Family is a primary social group that came into existence to satisfy the need for reproduction. It has evolved over times and passed through different stages. It has evolved over time and passed through different stages. The most striking feature of the Indian family system is the existence of joint family system. The most striking feature of the Indian family system is the existence of joint family system. The joint family system exhibits joint property, sharing of common residence, practicing of common religion, and mutual rights and obligations. And obligations. Done? Done, guys? Have you written it? How is the weather in Calcutta? Anyone? It is done. Okay. Now, the globalization has changed the nature of joint families to nuclear families. इसका impact लिखो. Impact of globalization on family. Globalization has changed the nature of joint family system to nuclear families. Second point, due to the Aditya is saying it is humid and hot. Okay, and raining in Paschim Vardhaman. Okay. Fine. Done. But I'm missing the vibes of Kolkata. Kolkata has a different vibes actually. To be very honest with you, the moment I get down, I still remember when I first time went to Calcutta. When I first time get down at the Howrah railway bridge, it's an amazing kind of a feeling. The vibes are different. The moment you come out of the Howrah railway station and you look at that Howrah bridge, and there is a the ferry used to you need to take a ferry from going one bank of the Hooghly River to another bank, and they charge you hardly 5 or 7 rupees, something like this. And that part where you are having the regional headquarters of State Bank of India is located. It is a different Kolkata, and it's a different Kolkata when you go to Bada Bazaar, when you go to other places, right? Tell me quickly, do you agree with my observations or not? So when I teach you, when I take this Kolkata online class, so I used to remind all this that I used to go in the back, in the past, what kind of feelings used to emerge actually. Done? The emergence of nuclear family, write it down, the emergence of nuclear family the emergence of nuclear family has, due to the emergence of nuclear family, children are not able to spend enough time with the family members, which is making them more individualistic and self-centered. Underline this word, which is making them more individualistic and self-centered. Spandar is asking me a very big question. Sir, if someone want to marry other religion or caste people, that is a right to choose. But the guy whom he or she chooses is not a good people. So parents prevent this marriage. After marriage, something bad happens. This will give negative impact to individual life as well as society. Questions. Now, parents' intervention not good in this type of case. Number two, intercaste is individual right. So whatever will happen, individual will suffer. So this type of thing will make a bad impact on society. Spandan, you see, you need to understand that. What is marriage basically? What should be the basic premise of marriage? In my personal opinion, the basic premise of marriage is the compatibility between the male and female. There should be an element of commitment among each other. Therefore, mental compatibility, element of commitment. And when you are conducting marriage, when marriage is taking place, why India has adopted endogamous marriage? Why in India caste marriages are the norm? Because India is having a caste-ridden society where every caste takes pride that they are superior and the other castes are inferior. So there is an element of social stratification present in society. The Indian society is highly socially stratified. But after independence, your constitution gives you the right of equality. Your constitution gives you the right to choose the government. Your constitution gives you the right to choose your life partner. When you are studying, you are going to college, you are gaining good education, you are employed comfortably, you are independent, then you have a right to decide your life partner. And to meet this demand, Government of India has come out with Hindu Special Marriage Act. But as I said, what is being preached and what is being practiced, there is a lot of difference in that. Constitution says equality, but when you come to ground level, when you look at the society around yourself, you see there is no equality. We people are fighting with each other still, and that is what Supreme Court has clearly observed on this issue. Supreme Court said that intercaste marriages will promote national integration in this country, which is the need of the hour. Because if you are conducting intercaste marriage, and as far as the failure or success is concerned, failure or success cannot determine the ability to take decision. For example, if I take any decision, there is a possibility I may succeed or I may not succeed. But that does not deter me that I should not take a decision. Therefore, I have seen, let me give you an example from my own family. I am coming from a very orthodox Brahmin family. In my family, I have seen that majority of, I would say 99% of the marriages are arranged marriages. I have seen in my family, one of my cousin sister, she is married to she has undergone an arranged marriage where everything was taken care of, proper matching of horoscope. They have seen the boy, and even after seeing all these things, her marriage collapsed. Now, who is responsible for that? Therefore, success and failure is a separate issue actually. You need to understand that. Failure can also take place in arranged marriage. Failure can also take place in love marriages. Failure can also take place in love come arranged marriages. By the pretext of failure, I cannot say I don't want to go for marriage. Therefore, you should be confident. I always say to my students, the most important thing is this: you need to be confident of yourself, whatever you are doing, whether it is your studies, your job, in your relationship, whatever. You have to be confident. Okay? I think I have given your reply. Why I am not able to see why the responses are not coming. Arey kya hua? Okay. Now, Spandan, I have given reply to your question. Is it okay? Another question Nima is asking, sir, does nuclear family promote separation of old parents from his son? You see, first of all, you need to understand how emergence of nuclear family happens. You need to understand that here. You see, you have just written that that family has undergone different stages. The most striking feature of Indian society is the joint family. But when you see the joint family is a part of our village life, is a part of our agricultural society. But today, there are hardly, I would say, there are less job opportunities in rural India. Therefore, in search of a job, you come out to the cities. When you get a job, your family is working. For example, I give you an example. Today, you are in Calcutta. You are preparing for civil services. Okay, your entire family is based in Calcutta. I assume this. For example, you are able to crack civil services. You get a Tamil Nadu cadre. Now you go to Tamil Nadu. You will join there as a subdivisional magistrate. Who will go with you? Your parents, your other family say, no, no, we are having our business, we are having our jobs in Calcutta, we can't move out with you. So what you will do? You go there, then you get married, your family, your wife or your husband will live with you. Am I right or wrong? Right? So this is how the emergence of nuclear family is taking place. But there is a concept of extended nuclear family. If you read sociology, there is a concept of extended nuclear family. In the extended nuclear family, what happens? Maybe you are living in Tamil Nadu with your family, but on the famous festivals such as Diwali or other holidays, you are coming back to Kolkata, spending qualitative time with your family. You are still connected with your roots. You are still connected with your family members. So this is the new thing that is taking place in Indian society. I think, Nimai, so therefore I won't say that nuclear family promotes separation of old parents from his son. No, not at all. Clear? Done? Nimai, I have answered your query. Right, now write it down the next thing. Now write it down. Not only the structural but functional transformation is also taking place in the family system due to globalization. Write it down. Not only structural but functional transformation is taking place in the family system. Sunanda is asking me a very good question that, sir, recently I have seen that women are getting married but refusing to change their surname. Is it related to globalization or just self-acknowledgement? You see, when I am getting married to a girl, I am not changing my surname. Then why should the surname of the girl should be changed? This is not just self-acknowledgement. It is showing a kind of awareness of a individuality of a woman. I would say this, and this awareness is coming due to the ecosystem which globalization creates. Because what is the biggest impact of globalization? The biggest impact of globalization is that it is creating gender equality in the society. Now women are becoming educated. They are going to colleges. They are going to top universities. They are working in multinational companies. They are, in some cases, I have seen in some families, women are much better settled in comparison to a husband. They are running the families. They are earning more money than the husband. Therefore, it is a kind of self-assertion, I would say. Self-acknowledgement, self-assertion, the recognition of the women's contribution in the society. That women is not subservient, women is not subordinate to a husband. Marriage is not the relationship of subordination. We need to understand things which we have not learned this since ages. We consider that women is secondary to us here. We need to give this due respect to our ladies, that you are equal to us. When I am not changing my surname, why you need to change your surname? Tell me this. Therefore, I think I have answered your question. Yes, it is the outcome of globalization, because it is a globalization. The world has interconnected. Today, Girls are becoming fighter pilots. They are taking combat roles. Recently, one of the lady army officers has become a commanding officer of the male unit. She has become a sahib. Whatever order she will give, the Jawans will follow that order, and she is placed at the Indo-China border. It is in the news in the Hindu, right? Therefore, the ecosystem under which all these changes are coming, it is the product of globalization only, right? Another child coming from very intelligent as they got good schooling, nutrition, but sometimes they also develop criminal mindset. Oh, first of all, not a criminal. This is a wrong. I think Subhashri, you a criminal mindset. No, no, no way. You know what happens that in nuclear families, what happens that parents are not able to spend more time with the child, and child is left alone. There is nobody to talk to a child, and it can happen in any family, whether it's a nuclear family or joint family. It all depends. Shriasi. Okay, Shriasi is asking this question. But in nuclear families also, children are doing good. It all depends upon the kind of atmosphere, the kind of environment they are getting. Okay, it's not like that children who are born in joint family they are going to become Nobel laureates. It's not, or the children born in nuclear families they will become. It's not like that. It's the more important is the conducive environment that is given to the child for its overall development and growth. That matters a lot. Okay, clear? Done? Write it down. Now, I think we have written on family. Now, let us move to another important aspect, that is caste. Now, the next time I'm moving towards next topic, that is, let me write it down. Caste, how caste is changing under the, how caste is changing under globalization. Globalization has brought changes. Globalization has brought changes to the caste system. To the caste system. The rigid caste system is gradually giving way to, the rigid caste system is gradually giving way to relaxed norms, intercaste marriages, intermingling and socializing with other castes is no longer considered as taboo. Yeah, Subhashri is asking me a question. That's a recently. Uh, you see, every film, you need to understand, Subhashri, what is the concept of a director? Filmmaking. Through filmmaking, director wants to share the story. And when a director is building a story and through filmmaking, he wants to portray to the audience what kind of thought that has given place in his mind. And through his story, he wants to convey the message. That is the idea of filmmaking. You can make movies on nuclear families also, where nuclear families are doing good. You can make movies on joint families also. There are so many property related disputes in joint families also in the villages where brothers are killing each other. This is also a problem associated with joint family, right? In joint family, the role of women becomes very minimized because joint family is normally they are dictated by the elder member of the family. In normal cases, they used to be the grandfather or something like this. Therefore, joint family does not give you enough space, especially for the women's. But in neutral, in nuclear families, Women's are getting much more space. They are a part of decision making in the family. So therefore, what you need to understand that there is nothing called totally bad or nothing called totally right here. Everything lies in between. Okay. It's up to you what you are taking out of that here. Okay. Now write it down. Rigid caste system is gradually giving way to relaxed norms, intercaste marriages, intermingling, and socializing with other castes is no longer regarded as a taboo. Increasing rationality in decision making with intermixing of thoughts from different cultures has reduced the superstitious beliefs. Increasing, I repeat it again so that you can write it down. Increasing rationality in decision making with intermixing of thoughts from different cultures has reduced superstitious beliefs. For example, rise in Dalit movement such as Dalit Panther movement was inspired from Black Panther movement in US. Clear? Done. Now I am moving to another important institution, that is religion. Now I am moving to another important institution, that is religion. Write it down on religion. Globalization flattens out the cultural differences. Globalization flattens out the cultural differences, erodes local customs and beliefs, erodes local customs and belief, and spread a secular way of life, and spreads a secular way of life which is in conflict with religion. Therefore, the relationship between globalization and religion is antagonistic in nature. The relationship between globalization and religion is antagonistic in nature. Globalization brings a culture of pluralism. Globalization brings a culture of pluralism, meaning religions with overlapping but distinctive ethics and interests, can interact with one another with ease. For example, World Religious Conference is taking place. Done. Due to globalization, people are reading and they are exposed to various religions, which helps in building a more tolerant society. The basic tenets of globalization are openness, individualism, freedom, etc., which stand against the religious parochialism, which stand against the religious parochialism. Even a theocratic state like Saudi Arabia is opening itself by allowing more freedom to women. Clear? One more example from current I want to add here. Due to the impact of globalization, there is reform within religions are taking place. There is reform within religions are taking place. For example, gender equality within church. Recently, a woman became a priest in Church of England. This was in the news in the Hindu, which I am bringing in my class notes. Due to the impact of globalization, there is a reform within religions taking place. For example, gender equality within church. Recently, a woman became a priest in Church of England. Done? Now coming to another important area where globalization has made inroads, that is media. Media. The next is media. Media. Write it down. Media plays a pertinent role. Media plays a pertinent role in the promotion of globalization. Media plays a pertinent role in the promotion of globalization. In fact, it is a part of the globalization process. In fact, it is a part of the globalization process. Media revolution has converted the whole world into a global village. By turning on the TV sets, we can be aware of the latest developments around the globe. We can be aware of the latest developments around the globe. For example, nowadays Pakistani TV serials are becoming very famous in Indian society. Do you know that? Because you can easily access any Pakistani TV or the Pakistani channels on YouTube. For example, there is a very famous Pakistani TV serial GT Road. So when people started watching GT Road, they said these people are like us only. There are so many students who are in Delhi asking me, sir, they are same people like us. They also talk like us. They are also having the same family structure, same cultural values, same social norms as we are having. And that is what I said. Yes, this is what I want to say. Because you have demarcated a country, but our civilization is same. That is the point. Therefore, here the Pakistan commits the biggest blunder, that it does not admit that its roots are coming from Indus Valley. Separation is a new phenomena. Separation is of hardly 75 years. And we are living in this subcontinent since thousands of years. If you take the DNA of any Pakistani or the entire DNA of the Pakistan, I can challenge you 99%. The entire DNA will be matched with Indian people. Their DNA is not going to match with Arabs or with the Middle East or with the Lebanon or with the Syria or with the Saudi Arabia, which they used to claim, because their descent is from Indus Valley civilization. Our DNAs are same, but yes, religious differences, that is the problem, right? Therefore, media is playing a very important role, right? Done. Right. Next, to write it on media, print media. Print media includes newspaper, magazines, and books. Print media includes newspaper, magazines, and books, which are the primary medium of. Sir, we can use skill as an acid to reduce carcinogen. Of course, skill does not depend on these parameters. Absolutely right. Right, Spandan? You can. Newspapers, magazines, and books are the print media. Is print media consists of newspapers, magazines, and books, which are the primary medium of dissemination of information within the society. Acha, tell me, who invented printing press? Who was the inventor of printing press? Anyone? Because printing press has a very big role in bringing a very big change in the society. Tell me. Anyone, tell me quickly. I'm waiting for your reply. Printing, I have not received. Are, shabash, very good, very good. Write it down. Printing press was invented by. Shabash, I am very happy. Printing press was invented by John Gutenberg. And with the invention of printing press, knowledge became accessible by. Knowledge became accessible to. Knowledge became accessible to masses. And when anything reaches in the hands of masses, it created a revolution. It created a revolution. And the Renaissance that you talk about, the Renaissance in Europe. In Renaissance Europe has happened due to two most important scientific inventions. Number one is printing press, and second is steam engine. These two discoveries of printing press and steam engine has created a renaissance, and I would say printing press plays a very important role in creating a renaissance in Europe, because printing press brings knowledge in the hands of the common masses. In the globalized era, the newspaper has assumed an international character. Newspaper has assumed an international character in terms of increased focus on international stories. You see, in Indian Express, you are getting one page is especially dedicated to the news item of economic times, right? Then come electronic media. Electronic media includes radio and televisions. Due to the advent of globalization, there is increase in privately owned radio stations, breaking the monopoly of All India Radio. That is how your FM 93.5, FM 92.7, FM 98.3, all these channels are coming up, right? Clear? With the advent of globalization, there is increase in privately owned radio stations, breaking the monopoly of All India Radio. Breaking the monopoly of All India Radio. Apart from this, there is a concept of community owned radio stations. Underline this. There is a concept of community owned radio stations which is gaining popularity. Which is gaining popularity. In India, acha, you tell me, can anybody tell me in India when television was introduced? In which year television was introduced in India? The objective of introducing television in India was rural development. Today, when I say this thing to you, you may laugh, but that is the reality. In India, television was introduced in 1959. Write it down. In India, television was introduced in 1959 in India. Television was introduced in 1959 in India to promote rural development. However, with the advent of globalization, it witnessed changes at various levels. Firstly, there is rise in the number of TV channels, breaking the monopoly of Doordarshan. For example, channels such as ZTV, your the Star TV, Sony Max, you can write down the names. Secondly, change in taste of people in terms of content has also taken place. Secondly, change in taste of people in terms of content. Earlier, it was the mouthpiece of the government. It was the mouthpiece of the government. It was the mouthpiece of the government. And in the name of entertainment, there was cultural programs such as Ramayana and Mahabharata. But today, there are dedicated channels. There are dedicated channels from sports to action to bhakti channels to news channels. There are dedicated channels for sports to action to bhakti channels. Therefore, there is an increase in specialization of content by TV channels. And in recent times, a new phenomena is emerging, that is OTT. And in recent times, there is new phenomena emerging, OTT. New OTT platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime. Please tell me the names. I'm forgetting. Amazon Prime, Netflix, etc. are coming up, and they are showing foreign shows. Right? And they have a wider audience reach in India. They have wider audience reach in India. This is, you see, this is how your your electronic media has changed due to the impact of globalization. In 1959, Doordarshan came into existence. What was the objective of Doordarshan? The objective of Doordarshan to promote rural development. Later on, Doordarshan became a mouthpiece for the dissemination of government related information to the people. You remember those days when once in a week on every Wednesday there used to come Chitrahar, on every Sunday there used to come a movie and entire family used to sit and watch that movie. On the name of entertainment, on Sundays we used to watch Ramayana, Mahabharata. You can ask the stories from your parents. They may tell you in a much better way. That was the time. And today, television has changed. Today there are numerous channels. There are dedicated channels. For example, NDTV 24 by 7 for the news. There are, that channel, Astha channel only for the bhakti. Therefore, there are dedicated channels for sports, actions, news, entertainment, for movies. The content has changed of the television. And today a new phenomena is coming which is giving a challenge to our movies. That is web series. Nowadays, people does not want to watch movies. People don't want to watch क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी for 3-4 years it is going on with so many hundreds of serials. Today, people are interested to watch web series season 1, season 2. You can see the success of Panchayat, right? Web series such as Kohara, and they are addressing very subtle points of our society, and they are creating a debate in the society. They are touching those taboos in the society which were earlier untouchable. And today, for us, as one of my students just shared, that Made in Heaven is discussing the issue of LGBTQ, right? Therefore, the world of electronic media has changed. And how this changes has taken place? These changes are nothing but the outcome of globalization process. I think today I have discussed all these topics with you, and I hope you have enjoyed this session with me. And I want my students to take more active part in the class. If you have any doubt, any questions, you are most welcome to ask, and I will try my level best to give answer of each and every question and to make the concept so clear to you that the concepts will be directly hit your, your medulla oblongata, and it will be printed there. And I want you to do well in your studies. Thank you very much for being with me. And tomorrow again we will meet and we will continue the same topic, globalization and its impact on Indian society. Thank you. Right.